Today, we're diving into some of the best RPGs you can sink hundreds of hours into. The kind that steal your weekends, melt your sense of time, and still feel totally worth every penny. So grab a snack, cancel your plans, and let's get into it.
Say it. You think I'm a monster? What?
Baldur's Gate 3. You ever make a tiny decision in a game and accidentally commit emotional war crimes? Yeah, welcome to Baldur's Gate 3. It's not just an RPG, it's a 100-hour psychological experiment run by Larian Studios to see how long before you romance a vampire and justify mass murder in the name of love. The world of Faerun is this glorious, chaotic sandbox of gods, goblins, and morally confused heroes. Every conversation feels like you're tiptoeing through a minefield. One wrong line and someone's either dead, in love with you, or both. What makes it magic is the sheer freedom. Combat's turn-based brilliance lets you throw your friends off cliffs accidentally. Builds are endless, stories intertwine like a fever dream, and replaying it feels mandatory, not optional. It's messy, it's beautiful. It's the kind of game that eats your weekends, your morals, and possibly your sleep schedule. But hey, at least you'll have a talking brain in a jar to keep you company.
I won't give in.
Elden Ring. If Dark Souls was a brutal test of patience, Elden Ring is the full dissertation, written in blood, tears, and pure awe. From Software took everything that made their past games iconic and unleashed it across a world so massive and mysterious, it feels like you stumbled into a nightmare painted by gods who hate you, but in the most beautiful way possible. You are the Tarnished, a nobody with delusions of grandeur, armed with a rusty sword and the courage or stupidity to face creatures that look like they crawled out of a fever dream. The Lands Between isn't just open world, it's alive with secrets, terror, and beauty. Every ruin has a story, every boss is trauma with a health bar, and every victory feels like a miracle you earned with pure willpower. Combat's tight, deliberate, and endlessly flexible. Magic, blades, or just a big stick, it all works if you've got the guts to commit. Exploration isn't just encouraged, it's sacred. The silence between fights is almost spiritual, until a dragon falls out of the sky and ruins your moment. 100 hours later, you'll still be wandering, still discovering, still dying, but grinning the entire time. Because Elden Ring doesn't just test you, it crowns you. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. If Studio Ghibli made an RPG where diplomacy is as important as dragon slaying, you'd get Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Developed by Level 5, it's basically comfort food for the soul. Bright, heartfelt, and occasionally devastating in that cartoon tears but real pain kind of way. You play as Evan, a tiny king with big dreams and even bigger hair, trying to build a new kingdom after a coup tosses him out. It's like the Lion King, but with more spreadsheets and tactical warfare. You'll travel through gorgeous pastel worlds, recruit eccentric citizens, and literally manage your own nation, one side quest at a time. Combat's fast, fluid, and packed with charm. Instead of grim moral choices, you get joyful chaos, summoning cute elemental creatures called Higgledies who somehow save the world while looking like sentient marshmallows. This isn't just an RPG, it's an emotional retreat. 100 hours later, you won't just remember the battles, you'll remember why you believed in hope again. Fallout 4. Nothing screams American dream quite like waking up from a cryogenic nap to find your spouse dead, your kid kidnapped, and the entire country turned into a radioactive sandbox. Fallout 4 by Bethesda Game Studios is that perfect mix of tragedy, freedom, and the occasional mutant trying to bite your face off. Boston's wasteland, the Commonwealth, is a masterpiece of desolation. You'll wander through bombed-out suburbs, pick fights with raiders over duct tape, and spend way too long trying to make your settlement's furniture look symmetrical. You're the sole survivor, rebuilding society one looted toaster at a time. Combat's crunchy, crafting's addictive, and the side quests, unhinged brilliance. One minute you're helping a detective robot solve a noir mystery. The next, you're arguing morality with a talking super mutant. But here's the real beauty. No two playthroughs ever feel the same. Every dialogue choice, every faction allegiance, every moral screw-up, it all sticks. Fallout 4 doesn't just give you a world to explore, it dares you to shape it, break it, or nuke it again just for fun. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Imagine a medieval RPG where dragons are replaced with debt, hangovers, and the crushing realization that you can't read. That's Kingdom Come Deliverance from Warhorse Studios, a brutally realistic, historically grounded RPG that asks, what if you were just some guy in 1403 who keeps getting punched by nobles? You play as Henry, a blacksmith's son with no special powers, no chosen one prophecy, just pure, unfiltered bad luck and the will to survive. The world of Bohemia feels alive in a way few games dare attempt. Every village, tavern, and monastery breathes authenticity. Muddy roads, church bells, and the occasional sword fight that ends with you bleeding out because you forgot to eat. Combat is tactical, heavy, and unforgiving. You don't mash buttons here. You duel like a medieval warrior trying not to die of exhaustion. And when you finally win, it feels earned. It's not an RPG about saving the world, it's about surviving in it. One where every victory feels personal, every failure stings, and every sunrise reminds you you're just a man trying to make it through history's hardest difficulty mode.
I'm going to enjoy this.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. There are open-world RPGs, and then there's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, CD Projekt Red's magnum opus, and probably the reason half of us now expect side quests to emotionally wreck us. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a professional monster hunter with the moral compass of a philosopher and the patience of a man constantly surrounded by idiots. The continent is raw, alive, and cruelly beautiful. Muddy villages hide monsters, kings plot in smoky halls, and somewhere out there, your adopted daughter is being hunted by interdimensional wraiths. No pressure. Every quest feels handcrafted, from tragic love stories to moments that end with you staring at the screen like, did I just make things worse? Combat's sharp and layered, blending swordsmanship, potions, and a bit of magic that makes you feel like a myth in motion. But the real power of The Witcher 3 isn't its size, it's its soul. Few games make you care this deeply, laugh this hard, or question your choices this often. And after 100 hours, you won't just remember the story, you'll miss it.
Come on, come closer. Get him! Come on!
Pathfinder Kingmaker. If you've ever thought, I wish my D&D campaign came with more political stress and less sleep, Pathfinder Kingmaker is your dream, or your nightmare, depending on how well you handle spreadsheets and moral crises. Developed by Owlcat Games, it's a full-blown isometric RPG that feels like Baldur's Gate had a baby with a tax simulator. You start as a nobody adventurer and somehow end up ruling a kingdom. Sounds cool, right? Until your loyal advisors start making decisions that tank your economy, your villagers are rioting, and you're knee-deep in undead lawsuits. The story's sprawling, the choices actually matter, and the consequences hit harder than a dragon with debt collectors. Combat's classic CRPG brilliance. Tactical, crunchy, and ruthless if you're not paying attention. Builds are limitless, characters are chaotic, and every quest feels like a mini novel written by a dungeon master with trust issues. It's long, it's punishing, it's addictive. 100 hours later, your kingdom might be on fire, but you'll be too proud of the mess you built to care.
Save hungry!
Who's next?
Nice work, team!
Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal isn't just an RPG, it's a full-blown vibe. Developed by Atlus, it's what happens when teenage rebellion meets existential therapy, all wrapped in the most stylish UI ever put on a screen. Every menu transition feels cooler than most games' boss fights, and every soundtrack drop makes you want to sprint headfirst into life's chaos. You play as Joker, a student wronged by society who decides to form the Phantom Thieves, a group of stylish outlaws who literally steal people's hearts. And yes, it's as absurdly poetic as it sounds. By day, you're attending class, juggling friendships, and pretending you're normal. By night, you're infiltrating twisted dream palaces built from human corruption. Turn-based combat has never looked this flashy. Every attack feels choreographed, every all-out finisher a mini music video. But under all that flair lies one of gaming's most emotional coming-of-age stories. It's not just about saving the world, it's about finding the courage to live in it. 100 hours later, you'll still be humming Last Surprise like it's gospel.
All right,
Not bad.
the first move is ours. Persona! How about this?
Monster Hunter World. If therapy was replaced with screaming at flying dinosaurs while wearing armor made from their cousins, you'd get Monster Hunter World. Capcom basically said, what if grinding was fun, and somehow made it the most satisfying loop in RPG history. You're a hunter dropped into the new world, a lush, living ecosystem where everything's trying to kill you, but at least it looks gorgeous doing it. Every monster is a boss fight, a personality, and sometimes a grudge. You'll study their habits, track their footprints, and then spend 30 minutes getting slapped around before finally landing the perfect combo. Combat is weighty, deliberate, and endlessly rewarding. Swords the size of small cars, bows that could down a jet. It's chaos, but beautiful chaos. The grind isn't punishment, it's meditation. Then there's co-op. Nothing bonds friends like collectively screaming when a Rathalos dive bombs your healing animation. 100 hours later, you're still crafting, still hunting, still saying, just one more quest. Spoiler, it's never just one. KENSHI. If freedom had a price tag, KENSHI would charge you your sanity. Developed by Lo-Fi Games, this isn't your usual RPG. It's a social experiment disguised as a video game. There's no chosen one, no tutorial fairy, no guiding quest marker. Just you, a desert full of cannibals, and a vague sense that everything's probably your fault. You start as no one, literally. A starving wanderer with zero skills, terrible luck, and a body made of paper mache. But that's the magic. You earn every inch of progress. You go from limping beggar to warlord, from slave to savior, through pure grit and questionable decisions. KENSHI doesn't hold your hand, it breaks it, throws it in the sand, and tells you to grow a new one. Its world is brutal and hauntingly alive, with factions that don't care about you until you make them. There's no perfect path, just stories carved out of suffering and triumph. 100 hours later, you're not the hero. You're the legend some terrified farmer whispers about at night. Before we jump into the next ones, if you're enjoying the list, hit that subscribe button. It really helps a lot. Now, let's get back to the adventure. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You ever want to kick a man off a cliff in slow motion while the sun sets over ancient Greece? Assassin's Creed Odyssey exists for that exact reason. Developed by Ubisoft, it's less stealthy assassin game and more Greek epic power fantasy where you accidentally adopt half the Aegean. You play as Alexios or Cassandra, mercenaries with abs carved by Zeus himself and enough charm to flirt with an entire nation. The world? Massive. We're talking I'll just explore that island massive, only to realize it's been 3 hours and you've started a small war. The RPG systems run deep: dialogue choices, branching quests, armor sets, skill trees that turn you into a Spartan demigod. Combat's fast, flashy, and gloriously ridiculous. You can literally Spartan kick your way through history. But beneath the memes and chaos, there's a surprisingly heartfelt story about legacy, family, and destiny. It's freedom in digital form: sunburn, sea breeze, and the echo of your enemies still tumbling down cliffs. Divinity Original Sin 2. Divinity Original Sin 2 is what happens when Larian Studios takes a D&D campaign, feeds it caffeine, and lets Chaos Theory design the rules. It's a masterpiece of freedom, the kind of RPG where your biggest enemy isn't a dragon, it's your own terrible decisions and your friend accidentally setting the ocean on fire. You start as a condemned sorcerer with godlike potential, stranded on an island that hates magic. The story spirals into a divine epic of betrayal, friendship, and a surprising number of sentient animals with better dialogue than most humans. Every character, from the undead prince to the lizard aristocrat, feels alive, flawed, and utterly unforgettable. Combat's a tactical fever dream, turn-based perfection where every element interacts with another. Lightning on water? Shocking. Oil near fire? Congratulations, you've created hell. But it's not just systems, it's storytelling with consequence. Every choice changes your path, every betrayal leaves a mark. After 100 hours, you don't just finish it, you graduate from it. A smarter, slightly unhinged tactician who now judges all other RPGs for their lack of explosive barrels.
Lucian struggles to rise, but the weight of his own pain leaves him to gravity's mercy.
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. There are two kinds of gamers in this world, those who've played Skyrim and liars. Bethesda didn't just make an RPG, they made a lifestyle. One where you start off heading to your own execution, and 5 minutes later you're stealing cabbages and shouting dragons out of the sky. Skyrim's world is eternal. Snowy peaks, ancient ruins, and NPCs who still haven't figured out how to avoid walking into fireballs. You can be whoever you want, a noble hero, a stealthy thief, or a lunatic who hoards cheese in Breezehome. There's no wrong way to play, just increasingly ridiculous ones. The story's simple: dragons are back, you're the chosen one, destiny, yada yada. But the real story happens in the chaos between. The side quests, the random encounters, the books you accidentally spend an hour reading. And that's Skyrim's magic. It never ends. 100 hours in, and you're still discovering caves you swear didn't exist yesterday. Skyrim isn't a game. It's a second home where adventure, nonsense, and endless replays collide.
You don't have to say anything. There's no need. You're here, so I know you'll accept my contract. My mother, she died. I'm all alone now. So they sent me to that terrible orphanage in Riften, Honor Hall. The headmistress is an evil, cruel woman. They call her Grella the Kind, but she's not.
Dragon Age Inquisition. You ever wake up one morning with a glowing hand, a hole in the sky, and a bunch of religious zealots asking if you're their messiah? Welcome to Dragon Age Inquisition, BioWare's epic tale of politics, power, and trying not to flirt with everyone who talks to you. Thedas is on fire, literally. Demons are falling from the heavens, nations are at war, and the only thing standing between civilization and total collapse is you, the Inquisitor, a customizable hero who can talk, fight, and sass their way through any crisis. The world's massive, lush forests, snowy peaks, haunted ruins. Each area feels handcrafted for hours of exploration. Combat's flexible too, tactical if you're thoughtful, chaotic if you're impatient. And let's be real, most of us are here for the companions, every one of them written with enough depth and drama to power an entire Netflix series. It's a game about leadership, belief, and found family, with a side of emotional damage. 100 hours later, you're not just saving Thedas, you own it, and probably half its hearts too.
Looks like they could use a hand.
Hold! We are not apostates!
I do not think they care, Seeker. Be ready. More coming our way.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Some games tell you what to do. Breath of the Wild just drops you on a cliff with a stick and says, "Figure it out, champ." Nintendo didn't just reinvent Zelda, they redefined open world design. It's freedom distilled into pixels, where curiosity is your compass and chaos is always one bad glider jump away. You wake up as Link after a century-long nap, half naked and ready to accidentally set the forest on fire. Hyrule's your playground. Sprawling fields, snowy mountains, burning deserts, all stitched together with mystery and quiet wonder. There's story, sure, but the story is yours. Every hill climbed, every shrine discovered, every lightning strike that reminds you metal weapons are a bad idea. Combat's fluid and improvisational. You can parry a guardian beam with a pot lid or drop boulders on unsuspecting bokoblins because why not? It's creativity rewarded, exploration celebrated, and boredom outlawed. 100 hours later, you're not just playing Breath of the Wild, you're living in it. It's not a world that tells you where to go, it just whispers, "What if?" and lets you chase the answer. If you made it this far, congrats, you've basically lived another life. These aren't just RPGs, they're black holes for time, sleep, and sanity. And honestly, worth every second. Few things beat the feeling of looking up from a questline and realizing it's somehow 4 a.m. again. If this list hit that gamer nerve, drop a like, tell me which RPG ruined your schedule, and maybe sub if the vibe's right. Now go, your next 100-hour adventure is already waiting to consume you.